All right, here we go. So as I said, I know there are more people that are going to get on, but I really feel that time is really important. My good friend and special person to my heart, Melinda Crenwelge.
Gee.
Crenwelge. Did I say it right? Crenwelge
Yeah.
is on the call. She is a brand new qualifying national marketing director. I'm super proud of her. She is out of Texas. She's on a totally different team in a totally different organization. And I had the honor of working with Melinda in the Brave Leadership Program. She was in my very first pod when I was a mere neophyte as a conversation coordinator. And I had a very wonderful bond with Melinda. And she's very intelligent. She can take notes like nobody you've ever seen. She has her PhD. So I'm sorry I didn't put that in my message, Melinda. She has her PhD, and she was just, I wanted you to hear what she learned and how she just absorbed information like a sponge, and just went through this journey in doing this business in a totally different way, but being totally open. And I want to say hi to Jazzy and hi to Jason. Hi, guys. So I'm going to let you take it away, Melinda, because I know these guys really want to hear what you have to share.
Okay. So welcome, everyone. I am absolutely very nervous, so I'll just put that out front. There is absolutely nothing that Maura could ever ask me to do that I would not agree to 100%. But as has become her custom, she is like stretching me out with each new assignment. So I'm hoping that I can share something that will be helpful to each of you tonight. Mostly, we just sort of brainstormed this idea because there was so much that I've gone through in this past year, and trying to capture some of it. So hopefully it will be something that you guys will be able to use as well. So just a little background on me so you know where I'm coming from. I was a high school science teacher and finished up my PhD, and my husband is a math teacher, and he just always wanted to own his own business. He didn't even care what it was. He just wanted to own a business. So it made sense to us to make it be an academic business. So we bought a franchise with Britannica Learning Center back in 1991. We ran as a franchise for the first year. And it was similar model to a Sylvan, much better though. And we chose that one and because of that. But K through 12 diagnostic prescriptive reading and math instruction. After the first year, they decided to dissolve that franchise relationship, and so we were immediately independent. So I leaned into my Rotary Club. I was in the Old Man's Club. There was 150 people there, belonged to the chamber. Had the opportunity to go through the board positions and become president of the Rotary Club, and I learned so much through that process. So we sold some licenses, we contracted with school districts, we ended up running 7 of these things in 4 different cities. I mean, it's just phenomenal. Had a wonderful experience helping move kids from underachieving positions to highly successful in the classroom. So that was me. That was my whole world, my baby. Back in 1997, I was introduced to Juice Plus, and as you often hear, it was an answer to one of my son's health issues. He has an auditory processing disorder and had really bad allergies. I was a bit panicked about how he would be successful in school, missing 30 to 40% of the instructional voice. So we started on Juice Plus. I immediately got on the business side because there was 5 of us and we didn't have the children's health study back then, so I had to pay for it. And so the allergies went away. We started sharing it with our family and friends. Back then it was a little bit different to move up to SSC, but you know, I was able to do that, got in the Comma Club, and there I sat for 18 years. It was my plan B. It was a great plan B, and I loved it. And thankfully, my NMD was okay with that and just loved on me being my Comma Club plan B. Then we catapult through to the June of 2015. We decided to sell the academic business. And so my plan B got to become my plan A. I was thrilled. I was excited for this to very quickly move to National Marketing Director. I had been successful with the business and thought that would happen, quickly. And it didn't. In April of 2017, yes, that's 2 years later, I am still an SSC. And thankfully, I was invited to join the Brave Leader program. And that was phenomenal because I got to meet your leader, Maura, who was a game changer and a life changer for me, for sure. Maura was our pod leader. And as she said, we just immediately developed such an affinity with her. I mean, I had always enjoyed studying leadership and looking at different types of leaders, but Maura just blew my socks off. I mean, I'm a drummer, and so I'm used to drills and coaches. I'm a type A personality. We've raised 3 kids through 4-H and athletics, and so I'm just accustomed to super hard work and high expectations, clear, specific directions. I guess I get that from Fredericksburg, growing up in a German community with a pretty high work ethic, came by that naturally. And Maura had all of that. She had all of those qualities, but at the same time, she has this amazing empathy and compassion and kindness. And man, I was just captivated. I constantly kept hearing her say, in my humble opinion, y'all have probably heard her say that. And she also constantly says, you may consider, and I was just blown away. Like I was amazed. I had been successful with a business, but it's different when you sign their paychecks. They can tell you you're a great leader, but you're signing their paychecks. You own the business. And so with Juice Plus, I was really intrigued by, okay, now you have to motivate people without signing their paychecks. And so I was just enthralled with learning how Maura did this. I knew she was highly successful. I just wanted to learn so much to be like a leader like she is. The other thing that really happened to me is that she made me feel so valuable. And I had really been missing that. I had, when I sold the business, I kind of lost myself, I guess. I lost that position in the community and that business ownership. And all of a sudden Maura came along and I just felt special again. And I just thrived with that. So then October of 2017, we're at the Indy Live Conference, and I'm coming down the hall with Brianna, and oh my gosh, Maura is on our floor. So
tell them who Brianna is, Melinda.
Oh yes, so Brianna is our daughter. She's my front line. She's my POB line that helped me get to Q. She's been in the business since she got in college, and she's been on Juice Plus since she was, little bitty. She's down there, that pretty picture there below me. So Brianna and I are walking down the hall, and Maura is on our floor, and I'm so excited to meet her in person and actually introduce her to my daughter. And I maybe mentioned that it would be a dream of mine if she would coach me. Just kind of quietly, hopefully very, very silently, And so a couple days later, we're at the Brave Leader luncheon, and Maura comes over and she says, I would be interested in coaching you. I promise I just levitated out of the room. I was like, oh my gosh, would you really? Can you even do that? I didn't have any idea how that could work. So anyways, we're just so excited. And I actually talked to some of my sideliners, and they got so excited. And so we had made this secret little pack, and we decided that every month when I talked to Maura, we'd get on the phone and I'd share everything that she told me. And that's why I took such good notes, to make sure that I could get everything just right. So then we started, and this is the process. I just want to explain the 4 kind of things I think that really, just catapulted me, because literally, I just walked across the stage as a Q. So it's just amazing. But number one, the first time I think that that was so important that we were working together is Maura asked a million questions. I mean, like a million questions. She asked all kinds of things. And now I look back on it, I realize that, you know, she was just really figuring me out and getting to know me. And then that was how she knew how to coach me. But at the time, it was just like this dike broke. I mean, I just had all this emotion coming out. And I realized that, you know, all of the things that I didn't understand, but that I had just been just not moving forward and, you know, not understanding why. And I got off the phone and I literally walked in the other room and I told Brianna, okay, here's the deal. We've just gone from a junior high PE class to a pre-Olympic training program. And I was scared to death. I will tell you, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't even know what she's going to tell me to do. I'm pretty sure I won't even know what it is that she tells me to do, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, you know, because she really got me, and she encouraged me so much. And even though I was scared to death, I was just, I was so excited about now maybe I will know exactly what to do to move my business forward. So I really felt like, okay, I'm scared to death, but I can do this. And so then the next
And this is the way she was, guys, all the time. Her enthusiasm and her excitement just bubbled over. But she paid such, and she took such fast notes, because you guys know I sometimes talk fast. But she was like a sponge. I've never seen anything like it. The information was going from my mouth to her brain. It was just amazing. But go ahead, Melinda.
So the next thing that happened, number 2, and there's just 4 things, so don't worry, but was the reports. I mean, okay, so I sent her my report because, of course, she doesn't know anything about my numbers because we're not in the same line. So then she's,
report, guys.
Oh yeah, the PVC report, right. So I sent her this PVC report and she starts telling me like all this stuff about my team, about my business, about like stuff I don't even know, columns that I don't even know what they are, and I don't even know what the acronym is, and she's explaining all this stuff, you know, and so I was just like, oh my God. And so then she told me that on the 10th and the 20th, she wanted me to make sure that I was talking to my reps that are really working. And that way we would know, okay, here's exactly where we are at the beginning of the month. I could subtract where they were from 1,000, divide by the 42, and I would know exactly how many trios we would need to work on together to get their goal for the month. Okay, this was like amazing because this was like how I ran my other business, you know, my academic business. I knew exactly what I needed to cover for payroll. I needed what I needed to rent. I knew how many students I needed to have. I just went and got them. And so this just really clicked with me. This is perfect. Like I'm like, okay, I can do this. And before, I think I was just sort of working as hard as I could. And then at the end of the month, looking to see, okay, what happened? Did we make it? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you know, no, whatever. But now I had this plan that I could get ahead of it. And you know, they say running a business, and that's not just an acronym. I mean, you really do have to run a business. And I knew that, but I didn't know how to run my Juice Plus business. So then I was like really excited because it was like, okay, this is stuff I know how to do. And now I know how to do it with my Juice Plus business. And then the third thing is probably the hardest thing to talk about, but it's my whole identity thing that I mentioned earlier. So I had all these qualities that I had been successful with in business before. And for some reason, I just had the idea that I kept hearing, or I thought I was hearing, that those were not the qualities for a Juice Plus rep. My upline didn't use the PhD on anything. So I just kind of felt like everything was thrown away, and that was behind me and away from me. And I'm pretty enthusiastic. I'm pretty passionate. I had a lot of confidence when I was running my other business, but all that was just gone. And I was just pretty immobilized. And I didn't really know how to be this Juice Plus rep because I thought I wasn't supposed to be what I was when I ran my business. And so that was the biggest thing Maura did for me. She just poured into me, and she kept encouraging me to look at those qualities and let those qualities run my Juice Plus business. And that was just huge, because I didn't have permission, or I didn't think I had permission to do that until Maura gave it to me. And then all of a sudden I had my passion back. I had my position of passion, which is really very freeing. And that's what people follow. People follow, excitement and passion and confidence. And that's what she gave back to me. She told me just, list out those qualities and lean into those and lead like I had done before. And so I was like, okay, I can do this. This I can do. So, and then the next thing that she did, the last thing that she did that was really a pretty tough assignment was she really worked on me about working with my workers. And so she kept telling me I really needed to pay attention to activity and not words. And so I had this one frontline that I just love to death and love to death. And we've just been doing coaching calls every week for like 2 years. And she wasn't qualified, and Maura's like, you know what, you need to Brene Brown this one. You need to either have a tough conversation or just move down underneath her and work with the workers. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. I mean, I can't do that. And she's like, well, that's what you need to do. So that's what I did. I got on the phone, actually got on a Zoom, and I just really spelled out that tough conversation and just went through, it's ridiculous to be at that position and not be qualified. You don't get anything. And so I was so nervous about that conversation and making sure that I was using all the right words. And you know what? She just stepped right up. She just said, oh, that makes sense. Okay. Let's get me qualified. And she started doing 3 ways every day with her downline. And she made her cumulative SC. And now she's over halfway to being qualified. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy. So then we went through our crazy, crazy month of the 2 months of qualification. And that's a whole nother story. But I just didn't think, I had no idea that it could even be possible. And my upline and Maura just kept, calling in, and Michelle from corporate kept telling me, okay, you're right on track. And I'm like, I am not on track. I'm nowhere close to on track. But it really isn't a linear thing. When your team takes off, it just really is that exponential growth. And it really, it's just unbelievable. I highly recommend making a major promotion right before you go to conference. For sure. So I tried to put together just a few things that helped me do that. And so I just thought I'd list those for you and then open it up and see if there's anything else maybe I could share that would be helpful. But I do take copious notes. That's how you get more degrees. You go to school and they give you more degrees. So I just take really, really the best notes that I possibly can. I find that when I'm writing my notes and I know I'm sharing it with my friends, that's when it really sinks in, and that's when I learn it the best. Maura always teases me about that I never get off the call without scheduling the next meeting. That is something that I learned with my academic business. You never leave one meeting without having your next scheduled meeting set up. I had to make myself be really brave. I was scared to do everything that she has asked me to do, including the Zoom. But I think it's just that boldness, just step out of your comfort zone. And then trust. I really do trust the wisdom and suggestions. I'm a big believer in don't listen to people who are not doing any more than you are doing. Pay attention to the people that have already achieved what you're going for and do what they're doing. And so I really trust the wisdom that comes from those people. And I try not to pay too much attention to all the people that know what I know or less, because they only know what I know or less than what I know. So I really try to pay attention to the successful people. I'm a huge believer in a franchise. I learned that with my former business. It's ridiculous to reinvent the wheel. Startups they have a failure rate of 80 or 90% in the first year. So the beauty of what we have and what I think is so important is that we have a franchise, we have a system. That's the magic of everything that we have. The community is huge. So I learned how to really get plugged in. And I personally didn't have exactly what I needed. So, I found it. And so that's what I really want to encourage you. Like if instead of whining about what you're not getting or what you're not doing, which we did a lot of, the whole blame and shame thing, just go find it. Figure out what really works for you, what's the right right partnership for you, and go find it, because there are thousands and thousands. I mean, like, look how Maura and I got connected. There's so many people out there, and this community is so passionate about helping all of us. And so, figure out what you need and go get it. And then the other thing is just play all in. Like, I had always taken the capsules. I mean, we've been with Juice Plus all these years, since Brandon was like 4 or 5 years old. We've always taken the capsules. We've always drank the shakes, but, like the shred, I had not done that. And so then, a couple of years ago, I just went all in on the shred, had phenomenal results. And then that just escalated everything. And so the Tower Gardens, I bought a Tower Garden when they first came out, but then I put 6 of them in our high school, and I got 2 or 3 other schools to try a Tower Garden. And so go all in, 100% all in, because then your results will be so much bigger, and your enthusiasm will be so much bigger, and your growth will be so much bigger. And then the last thing is just have a blast. I mean, this is such a fun business. And so just smile and enjoy and laugh a lot. People love happy people, and our community is filled with them. People follow passion, people follow leaders. I found that, with our academic business, I just got so jacked by taking a kid that was underperforming and helping them move into a successful position in the classroom. And now what I get to do is help people that are not so healthy get, their health back. And that is very, very rewarding. It's just amazing to me what we get to do. And then now I get to start to try to show people what I'm learning about the business part, and taking what I learned in my other business experience and guiding people to that independent time freedom. So that's what I've got. I hope that's helpful. And I just want to open it up for questions, or Maura, your interpretation of these last few months, whatever you think will be best.
Well, let me just say one thing about Melinda. She always came prepared. She always sent me her PVC report before our meeting. And she really was completely blown away by the fact that I could tell so much about her business just reading her PVC report. It unnerved her. It was like she I think she felt like I was seeing through her or something, and it was right there on a piece of paper. Her volume went up 6,000. She was do you mind me sharing this?
No, it's fine. I thought I would never be Q, because we were like 16,000 for like a decade. I mean,
yeah.
like,
and then she was going up and down, and it wasn't really the volume I was worried about, because 6,000 or 4,000, that's not so difficult if you have people moving. It's 100, anywhere from almost 100 to 150 orders in your whole organization. That's not so bad over a 6-month period, which is what Melinda did essentially. What really was I was looking at and I was concerned about was her structure.
Yeah.
And even before we went to, where'd we go, Melinda? Indiana. Mm-hmm. Melinda, we weren't even doing the coaching yet. And Melinda, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, Melinda, because this is my memory, that Melinda texted me or called me or Voxered me and said, Brianna doesn't want to come to conference. What can we do about this? I said, get her on the phone with me. And so Melinda and Brianna and I got on the phone, and I basically said to Melinda, what did I say to you, Melinda? Fired.
Oh my gosh, Brianna, do you remember? You would have gone?
Yeah, you want to say it, Brianna? Where's Brianna? Oh, there she is. Wait, you're muted, honey. Uh, Unmute yourself, Brianna. Oh, there you go.
No, you're okay. There you go.
You told me it wasn't an option, basically.
So Brianna had already told me at the couple conferences before, if I don't have a promotion, I'm not going to any more conferences. I mean, I've been going to these things since I was little. I'm sick of going to these conferences. I've got the exact same title. I'm just not going to go anymore unless I've got a promotion. And then she didn't get the promotion. So that's when I got on the phone with Maura. I'm like, okay, what do I do? You know?
So Melinda and I talked to Brianna, and I said, Brianna, this is not an option. If you're not going to go to conference, you're not going to grow. You want to grow your check, get your ass to conference. And she did. She went. And that's when we saw her in the hotel. And I was watching them walk down the hall. I said, uh-oh, there's Brianna. Because I was kind of like a little bit of a hard guy, a hard ass about it. She was so sweet. And her business has exploded, completely exploded.
Yeah.
Her check is, you're really happy with your check, right, Brianna? It's going up and up and up.
Yeah.
But I was really worried, not worried. I was paying attention to Melinda's structure. So I was talking to her about her volume and her customers, but I was also talking to her about her structure. And we had very lovely, wonderful conversations, except for one, when I had to basically call her out on wasting her time on a teammate on coaching calls where nothing was changing for 2 years. Not one thing had changed. She hadn't got one more order. She hadn't invited one person onto the team. And I know she was her friend, but there's a time for friendship and there's a time for business, and sometimes you have to separate them. And so that was a really hard conversation for me to have with Melinda, because I know how much she cared about this person. So I had to be strong about it. And she was like, okay, all right, I'll do it. And it had the biggest change in this woman that I've ever, the likes I've not seen before, because she had this difficult, critical conversation. And Melinda told her that she loved her, but she was going to start working with her team below her, who, by the way, were growing like wildfire. She had this whole team, this one leg. It was a runaway leg. And by that, I mean, they were getting, Michelle got team, and then they got team, and then they got team, and then it was a whole runaway leg. And I said, Melinda, you got to grab that leg and you've got to start working with these people. And we went over exactly what that meant. And all of a sudden, things started to grow. She started to grow width and depth. So Melinda, I was trying to get Melinda to grow depth, which is not an easy thing to do, by the way. I've been working on that my whole time I've been a Juice Plus rep. But she did it, and she was always ready and willing to do it. Even I didn't know it scared her as much as it did, but that's probably good. I didn't know that. She didn't let on to that. She just would kind of say, "Oh, okay,
okay, keep your game face on. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'll do."
And she did it. So I'd like you guys, and Melinda, that you said the nicest thing about me. I actually got a little teary-eyed when you were saying it. But it really was a privilege and a pleasure to work with you, because it was activity and everything in motion. It kind of laid itself out, especially the last 2 to 3 months.
Oh gosh.
In the last 2 to 3 months, all the work that she had done with, and I can say with me and prep and building and going and growing everything. Brianna grew immensely. She was just a recruiting machine. Brianna became a recruiting machine. Melinda became a recruiting machine, and it's been very beneficial for them in their business. So I'd like you guys to unmute yourselves and ask Melinda, and even Brianna, if that's okay with you, Brianna, questions. One thing I do want to say is the fact that she took the notes and then taught it. She went from being a student to a teacher in a very short time, because when was your meeting with your sideline buddies? An hour after we spoke every time or so?
Yeah. They asked me, when are you talking tomorrow? When are you talking tomorrow? And then we'd schedule it right after that. Our little sideliner group, our secret group.
So she would take the information as a student and turn it over and teach it. And I'm not sure, you know, I'm not sure I could do that, but because she has her PhD and because she's a teacher and an educator, she was able to do that flip really quickly. She was able to process and synthesize the information really quickly and then teach it. That's not normal. I mean, that's a gift. But who would like to ask Melinda? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, Sue. We can't hear you, Sue. You're not muted. Maybe your volume. Bummer.
Can you type it into the chat?
Yeah, you can type it into the chat. Yeah, so type it into the chat. Does anybody else have a question while Sue's typing it in to the chat?
I have a question.
Danielle. Hi, Danielle. I see.
I'm sorry, I was a little late on the call tonight. My kids are driving me crazy.
No worries.
Oh, should I ask it? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My biggest challenge, I think, thus far is building team. I mean, I think about how long I've been in this business, and holy cow, I can't believe it's not even 2 months yet.
Not
And
even.
how far I've come.
Like barely a month. You
Yeah,
just
right?
started. What are you talking about?
I know, right? You know, I'm like, how long has it been? But I think
funny.
finding the right things to say to people to join your team, they find it like, well, why would I want to do this? And no, I'm too lazy and I don't have the time. And that's all I keep hearing from people, and it's driving me crazy. So I want to know, probably, I guess, how do you really tell people this is great? Like, I know now because I do it and I love it, but I'm trying to get them on the same page, and I'm finding that to be a challenge.
You know, this is kind of crazy, but Brianna, think about this and see what you would want to add. But one thing that made a big difference for us is that we started talking about it as a franchise. We used the franchise word. I don't know if y'all do that, Maura. Is that something that y'all all do? But to me, that is huge. I mean, like I was talking about before. And so when Brianna and I ask, you know, when people say, what do you do? We say we own a franchise. And people immediately think we own like a McDonald's or, you know, I mean, I don't know what they think, you know, but all of a sudden it's a complete paradigm shift, you know. So if you're not using the franchise word, and I don't know, Danielle, if you are, but
No, I've never approached it that way. That might be a good
absolutely.
idea.
Well, then just start that tonight. You know, when somebody asks you what you do, just say I own a franchise with a whole food company.
Okay.
Or a health and wellness franchise.
Yeah,
The other
Brianna,
thing Melinda did a lot of, Danielle, is I did connection calls with her. I think in the beginning I said, okay, she said, will you do some connection calls with me? And I said, yeah, okay, I'll do 2. And at the time, you guys, I had 2 or 3 of you in the Brave Leadership Program that were frontline, you know, that I was working with. So we were doing a lot of connection calls, and she utilized the connection calls, Danielle. And that's how she also got people to get on the team, because then Brianna started using the connection calls. So can you speak to that, you two?
Yeah, I would also say I like to ask them more questions than they ask me. So when people tell me I don't have time for that, I ask them, well, how much time do you think this takes? Because then they're going to tell you why they're not doing it. If they think you work 30 hours a week when you work 5, well, there you go. Or if they say, well, I just can't do what you do. What do you think I do? Go ahead and get those limitations out of the way. Like, because I will tell you, a lot of people I've come back to and asked those questions, they had a totally different idea of what I did or how long I spent on it or what this job even consisted of than I thought. And I didn't even know that was what was holding them back.
And how many people have you recruited this month, Brianna?
3 so far.
3 so
And
far.
I've got hopefully another one tomorrow. Month's not over.
Good.
Now, are these
Good.
people that you know personally, or are they just people that you just met?
One of them was a customer. The other two actually came from people that told me, no, I don't want anything to do with that product. I don't want anything to do with that business. So then I asked them, okay, so if you're not interested, do you know anybody who would be? And those other 2 team members were referrals from them.
Oh,
So I'd
cool.
never met them until they called me wanting to sign up for the company.
Okay.
Okay, so Brianna, tell them about Johnny at the gym. That sounds
Oh.
fun. Johnny at the gym. That's going to be a good story.
So I have started taking my headphones off at the gym and actually talking to people at the gym and getting to know the people around me, which is hard for me because I don't want to talk when I'm there. But one of the girls I was actually talking to who was interested in the product, who was one of my hard no's, like she's not interested. She doesn't think that Juice Plus is what it is. So, okay, cool, next. But while I was talking to her, another who is a really, really well-off businessman here in town, he owns 3 or 4 large companies. He's a board of director on the banks here. Like, I would never have approached him. Interrupted my conversation with my girlfriend and was upset with me that I had not told him about Juice Plus. Immediately signed up for the business, immediately ordered the product, and immediately called a ton of his friends and business owners. Because he was like, this is a huge opportunity, and I'm the businessman. Why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, you weren't even on my chicken list. That's how far away you were from me.
And the three-way, again, back to the three-way, when he called Brianna back, she had told him she was going to text him a video, and then she waited a couple days or a day or something, and he hadn't answered. And so, we were doing the whole FSD, oh my gosh, well, maybe he's not interested. Well,
Brene, that's Brene's Brown acronym for shitty first draft. When you don't hear back from somebody, you start telling yourself this horrible story. Like, oh, I was too pushy, or they didn't like me, or my breath smelled, and yeah.
He's like my age, and Brianna's 27, so she had all this stuff going on, And so so she texted him back, and we were together, and she texted him, and she goes, I just wanted to know how you thought about the video, what you thought about the video. And he's like, what video? And then
He'd never gotten it.
He had never gotten the video. So she sends him, which one, Brianna, how is
the one that it puts together John Blair, what is Juice Plus and how it's made. So it's like a 4-minute video. It's perfect.
So literally in like 6 minutes, he texts her back, and he's like, I'm in. What do we need to do? This is amazing, And so she gets him on the phone and puts him on speaker, and he thinks that he's talking to her, but I'm listening. And so, we're kind of tag teaming exactly what to say, and he's ready. And I'm like, get the money, GTM, get his credit card. I'm writing all this stuff and, motioning to her and everything. So he signed up right then, and then we met him the next day, did a 3-way, and he's doing the napkin thing. I mean, he's just sitting there like with this little piece of paper and his pen, he's writing the circles, and okay, this is what I need to do, and
It's awesome. And let's answer Sue O'Shea's question. The question was, how long has Brianna been in the business?
So I joined the business when I was 18, but
you can tell him why.
Well, so Mom quit paying for my product.
I told you we're doing.
Yes, she quit paying for my product, and I was like, well, if she's not going to pay for it, it must not be that important, so I'm just not going to take it. And then I realized all of the things that Juice Plus was actually doing for me and all of the things that I had prevented by taking it. So I called my mom back, and I was like, okay, you're right. I do need this stuff, but I'm a broke college student. I don't have $50 a month. So that's why I joined the business when I was 18. But actively, probably the last 2 years, I've been really pushing this. I just got tired of working for other people, to be honest. And I like to wear athletic clothes all day and be comfortable and work from home. And what else do I do? So
what else do you do, Brianna?
I used to, so right now I do Juice Plus full time. I help my parents manage a B&B and event hall property we have, but this is primarily what I do. I will say it took a few years to get there for me, but some people get there really quick, and I just I had a nicer job. I mean, there wasn't anything I could complain about working for the city, and I worked at WIC as one of their nutritionists. I just didn't like working full time because you'd sit there 8 hours a day and you're doing 4 hours of work. And I'm someone that was like, I need to go. I need to be doing something. So then I switched. I got my Juice Plus up big enough I could take a part-time job. And I recommend take a part-time job you don't like. It will push you to do so well at this business because I could not stand to work at that part-time job. Every day I'd come home and I was like, I've got to get a customer because I got to get out of here.
And there's been a big change in you, Brianna, that I've seen in the 8 months, in the 6 months really, that I've really gotten to know you. She went from not going to wanting to go to a conference to coming to this conference with new team. And, you know.
And she was in the Comma Club.
And she was in the Comma Club, which she was crabbing about like you wouldn't believe. She was just being a Mona Lisa about the whole thing about it. And now she's in the Comma Club. So who else? Susie, do you have a question for these guys? I see you unmuted. Oh, maybe
Am I muted?
No.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm just very impressed. It's really, really good, and I love the whole story and how you work together. That's awesome. Very exciting.
Yes, it is.
I have a question.
Okay,
Okay.
Julian.
Hi, Melinda. Remember you said in the beginning that you didn't do like the traditional, follow the same plan, as far as, I think you were referring to like a DMO. Do you have a DMO? I know they talk about that in the company.
Yeah, that's
Do you
actually
have like a plan every day? Is that
Yeah.
something? Or
So-
it's when you first started, did you have a plan or did you kind of just like wing it, so to speak?
Yeah, remember that was in 1997, so I don't really remember what we were doing, except I was really building my other business. So this was just my plan B. Now I knew we went to some conferences and, I could tell that this would be, NMD would be something that I would want to do once I wasn't gunning 100% on our other business. But no, I didn't, I was just family and friends. I just, didn't do that. But then when I did get more serious about it, we definitely do the DMO. We just do that regular DMO page. And we've done everything with the DMO page. And just Brianna and I meet every week. And I mean, I'm telling you, she skunks me. I mean, she pulls out this DMO and it's just like, stacked and typed and filled. And I'm sitting there with my DMO going, let me see your DMO, but we do that every single week. And then at conference, when they came out with the new Team Z offer, we thought, why not try something new for November, and so we both signed up for the 30-day, free 30 days. Several of the people on our Brave Leader team have been using it and they were happy with it. I honestly think that whatever tool you'll use is the one that's going to work, but if you want to try it for 30 days, we've just uploaded our stuff and just, I can't tell you anything more than that because it doesn't take very long. But that'll be something, it's a tool, and tools, there's going to be new tools all the time, fun things to do. But if your team doesn't want to pay $20 a month or, whatever, they can definitely get to Q with the DMO page for sure.
But we were using the one on the mission-driven model.
Yeah.
Just so you know, 'cause there's a bunch of them out there. We used the one on the mission-driven model.
Yeah, I like the one on the mission-driven model too. The thing that's different though, Joanne, understand that she had a DMO. She had a DMO for a long time, but the activities were not producing team and volume.
Yeah.
And so it was it was good she had a DMO, and she's a teacher. You got, teachers love curriculums, and that's what
I love plans to follow.
Yeah,
It's how
you
our brains are structured.
Joanne as a school counselor, but the big wake up call for Melinda and Brianna, I guess I can, correct me if I'm wrong, was the fact that when I was coaching them and she knew that she was going to have to hold herself accountable to me, and for that matter, Brianna did too. Everything changed for them. they started recruiting like nobody's business, where they hadn't recruited. The first thing I did was look at Melinda's previous PVC report, and I said, Melinda, you haven't recruited anybody in, I forget what I said to you, Melinda, but it was a while. And she said, how do you know that? I don't know that.
Column on there that has the dates. Like, whoa. Oh, I didn't know that.
But it was, so that's the difference. You can have DMOs all day long, but if you're not going to hold yourself accountable, and you're not going to follow the system of connection calls and recruiting,
Yeah.
as you build your customer base, you're not going to grow, period.
Yeah.
And that's what she heard loud and clear, is in my humble opinion.
And I heard that from Maura, and also from that Brave Leader program. You know, they're so big on the three-way calls, and we were not doing three-way calls at all. The only three-way calls we ever did was once we signed somebody up, we'd get them on a three-way call to introduce them to our NMD. That was the only three-way call we ever did. And so that whole Brave Leader program, where we were doing customer appreciation, and we were doing gold digging, and we were doing prospects. I mean, you know, those of you that have been in that program, you know how many you have to do. And Brianna was not doing three-way calls. She was completely convinced that, you know, millennials don't do three-way calls, you know, all that kind of stuff. And we don't, I don't know, we all have reasons, the awkwardness of inviting someone to a three-way call. I mean, one thing we did, once I figured out that that's what the successful teams are doing, and that's what I would tell you. I've done that forever. Like, you know, in my Rotary Club, I would look at the business people that were booming business. That's who I was talking to. That's who I was sitting next to at lunch. You know, run after the people that are successful, and the teams that are exploding are doing tons of three-way calls. So I just kept saying, okay, whatever it takes, we got to figure out this three-way call thing. But Brianna and I sat around for about an hour with one of her new reps, just role playing. And if you've not done that, or if you're not real comfortable with your three-way calls, get somebody to just role play with you how to invite to a three-way call. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, you know, we just bumbled and bumbled and bumbled. You know, we'd say, okay, like, I'm going to invite Maura to a three-way call with Brianna. And I'm like, okay, hey, Maura, I really want you to get on a call with me with Brianna. You know, we were like, what? You know, ring the bell, start over again. And we just did that over and over and over until it was short and sweet and comfortable and authentic. And, you know, we just tend to talk too much. We just kept cutting each other off, and, you know, just going back over, how to make that real comfortable. So if you haven't role played that, I don't know, y'all may all do a ton of three-way calls, but if you're not, that is something you could start tomorrow that would really make a difference. And I think it makes a difference. Brianna and I were talking with one of her new reps last night about this. It's not so much that you don't know what to say, or that, like, I need to get Maura on the phone because she knows more than I do, or you need to get me on the phone because I know. It's not that at all. It can be, and I do get people on the phone that I'm scared to talk to. I get Maura on the phone with me, or my NMD, you know, whatever the best fit is. But the thing is the community. The thing is having an amener. The thing is, you know, that there's third party validation. There's just something about talking with others, you know, that is more effective than just talking to them by themselves.
Absolutely. And the way I look at a three-way call, a connection call, is I want everybody, my goal is to make everybody feel good about the fact that we're on a phone together. So I'm going to build the guest up on what my teammate admires about this person, and I'm going to build my teammate up. And so everybody gets off that call, even if the business isn't the right solution for them right away, they get off the call feeling really appreciated and valued. And that's important. Making people, well, you heard Melinda, making people feel valued is super important.
Yes, absolutely. That was the game changer for sure for me.
Right. So, Melinda, any other questions? Because we really have to, we have to let these poor people go. We've held them hostage here long enough. Thank you so much.
Oh, good question.
Oh, there's a question. Melinda, what is your why for doing this business?
So my first answer is I have a grandson in Kansas. Kansas City is about a 10-hour drive from Waco. And so I want to work from this device here and be able to run up to Kansas and get him and do things with him whenever I want to. I couldn't do that when I owned my traditional business. I could afford it, but I couldn't be gone. And so that's my number one, is that little grandson of mine. I've only got one grandson, but he's in Kansas. So I want to be able to do things with him. But my bigger why is that I had the opportunity to get my advanced degree. I told Maura, my major advisor, when I finished up my PhD, really assigned us to go out there and find women that have not had such good opportunities that we had, and to share that and pay it forward. And I take that very literally. And now that I've had the opportunity to own a business for 25 years and, put a nice retirement when we sold that business, all the benefits of business, I've had the opportunity to have. But with my traditional business, I had people asking me all the time, let me start an Academics Plus, teach me how to start Academics Plus. And I would love to do that. And I can do that, but you need a $500,000 line of credit to run a business. You can't just start a business with nothing. And so my big why right now, I think, is that I can run with Brianna and friends of hers, Michelle, just talking with her today, and offering them the opportunity that owning a business brings, and only charging them $50. That just blows my brain, that anybody can come into this business, and that it is something as important as helping people get well, and that they can have that time freedom from owning this type of business.
Last question, Melinda. What's your next goal, and have you set it?
Oh, yeah. So I'm thinking Maura calls me to say congratulations and rah, and she's already given me my assignment for the next time. Here's what I need. I need 20 people on my dream team, and I got to have them by Friday. But that's okay, because I really want to get everybody on my front line to the next promotion by Sacramento. And if I'm not in MD by Sacramento, I definitely want to walk that stage in Austin. So NMD in a year for sure.
You'll do it. I know you'll do it. You're going and growing, and Melinda's going to be in a queue, and Brianna's going to be a queue, and you guys are just going to walk the stage, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. So
Maura,
thank you.
Melinda, thank you very much. I just wanted to say, I think we have a lot of people on here who are not involved in Brave Leaders and don't know about it, but first of all, the company's made it really inexpensive for us to do this unbelievably phenomenal program, and the group coordinators like Maura don't get paid to do that. And if I'm saying too much more, you can tell me be quiet, but Maura, there's no monetary exchange here from either one of these ladies either. So the fact that Maura's doing this because she had a pod member who wanted coaching and is taking more time to do that, I think that's pretty indicative of this company, but says more so about Maura. And we have Maura as our upline, and if we're not freaking using her the way you are, that's just dumb. So
y'all are leaving money on the table. You just
exactly. There's no pay. I mean, you can pay thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars for coaching, and Maura's doing this because, right?
Because she's Maura. She loves us.
You are so lucky.
How lucky we are.
Yes, you are so fortunate. You're so blessed. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're so cute.
And it might have been part of my motivation too, that, I felt like, oh my gosh, she's giving me an hour this month, and I just got to get every single thing that she's got to tell me, if you become accustomed to having someone like her, please hear me. She is so rare and unique. Absolutely just suck up every little bit that you can do with Maura.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, Sally and Denise and Darlene and Michelle for coming on our team call. It was fun having you. And from my heart to yours, thank you so much, Melinda.
Thank
I
you,
love you to
Melinda.
death. And
Thanks,
I love you guys. I love.
Thank you.
Love you, Laura.
We
Love
appreciate it.
you.
Bye, guys. Love you all.
Good call, everybody.
Appreciate your
Good
time.
night.
Bye.
Good night.